Merry Christmas, everybody, and I'm back to talk about blasters once again. Because my Christmas tradition now in Standard is that I will talk about a blaster-related deck with a brand new formula every Christmas. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mr. Here. Today I'm back to talk about Phantom Blaster Overlord in DivineZ. This is my first DivineZ video, and as such, there are going to be changes to the deck profiles moving forward. If you need a complete understanding of the changes that have gone through this format, or you just want a quick summary of what the points are in terms of the changes to the game itself, I have a link in the description below that links you to my DivineZ Explain video. This will mainly help you save time, so I don't really repeat any points for DivineZ. Basically, this will be a deck profile as God intended. A deck profile. I won't be going through the format changes, what is impacted, so on and so forth. That being said, I will also link in the description below my previous Phantom Blaster Overlord deck profile from set 5. So it's been a whopping 8 sets since I've talked about this guy. And I will also link my last Christmas PBD video where I talk about set 4 PBO. So where have I been for the last 8 sets? Well, I mean, truth be told, we didn't really get much direct support for this deck. We did get a promo though in the form of this is Cordelia or Cadwalla? This is Cordelia. No, this is Cat. I can't remember the name. Damn it! They changed it in English, so it's literally unpronounceable to me. But this is Creduna. Thank you. But the thing is that this is the main support. I got this reprint from Triple Drive Booster because I was not available to actually farm promos during that period of time. I went to Hong Kong and I missed my train, and it just so happened in the few minutes that I contacted the shop later, they sold out. So, alright, that's my complete loss. But we got in Triple Drive Booster. Actually, a lot of cards here have been reprinted in Triple Drive Booster, so this deck is very affordable. I chose this deck to go through for my first DivineZ deck profile, as well as this Christmas deck profile, because I wanted to try and go through a case study of a deck that didn't get much modern support, but would appreciate more slots, and using the same principles of being able to cycle, being able to draw and filter through your deck, none other than the strongest early game in Keter Sanctuary, Hexorb Sorceress. I mean, Blaster Dark. So today we are going to just go through this deck real quick. I know I spent a lot of time really prefacing, but the card choices are very similar. What you're more interested in seeing is the ratios and why. So we're going to go through that real quick. For our right deck, we obviously still play Full Bow, Blaster Javelin, Blaster Dark, and Phantom Blaster Overlord. I know a lot of you are saying, well, hold on, why don't we play Marin and, Marin and Vanguard Brave? But that's also because in this deck of PBO, if you play Marin and Vanguard Brave, the only real outcome you get is to superior call Vanguard Brave from your soul. Which is not bad, but we want to thin this deck. And by thinning this deck, we have to rely on Blaster Javelin's superior call, even if we know the opponent will counter Blast Deny. So you have to be aware that there are counterplays to Blaster Dark as an existing strategy, but you are going to accept those counterplays because you still want to thin the deck. Calling out one of your high-level targets, because this deck has so many, like the entire Grade 2 roster, is going to be a lot safer than calling a Grade 0 with 6,000 power. It just doesn't cut it in this day and age. So thinning the deck is why I mainly opted to go Blaster Javelin, and it's flavorful, it's nice. Marin and Vanguard, while they are still one of the best right decks you can play in any Blaster related deck, hell, even Ezel if you felt like it. For these purposes, I wanted to demonstrate deck thinning, and this is really the best option for it. Blaster Dark, you pretty much already know what he does. When placed on Vanguard Rearguard Circle, counter blast 1, choose one of your own rearguards, retire it, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, retire it, and then this unit gets +1 drive. Yes, you cannot perform drive checks on rearguard. Or can you? And then, of course, if one of your own rearguards has been killed this turn by your own effects, Blaster Dark, Enlightened by the Smell of Blood, gains 5,000 power. It's the same card. I picked my DBTO2 Holo. I hope you can see that. But yeah, it's the same guy. Nothing has changed. Phantom Blaster Overlord. He still has the same skills. If you have Phantom Blaster Dragon, which is this piece of shit in the soul, his critical goes up to 2. Yay! And then when this unit attacks, choose 2 of your own rearguards and retire it. Choose a Blaster Dark from your soul or drop zone and call it to a rearguard circle. And then if your opponent's Vanguard is greater, himself and Blaster Dark gain 10,000 power. This deck is kind of nice going second. You kind of want to have the first attack, you kind of want to have the first push, and in general, you will see for yourself that this deck is really good in aggressive gaming, but we also try and farm advantage. So a lot of the choices in this deck will seem obvious, but at the same time, they are relatively more innovative in terms of recycling old ideas to new light. Phantom Blaster Overlord is still exactly the same guy with 4 attacks and the crit and all, but even the crit is hard to set up because you have to put a Phantom Blaster Dragon to the soul. It's not easy. So as you will see later on in his deck profile, we are going to try and play down that aspect. I know there have been a lot of good videos out there talking about how Phantom Blaster Overlord's crit skill is not the best, and to be honest, I fully agree with these points. Playing this at the WGP once, I think 2022, and then trying it out as the sets went on, it just felt more and more horrible. Sliding the Great Tree into Soul, I attack you with a 13k 2 crit Vanguard, you guard it with 15k, I end my turn. Like, hello? Like, this is shit. So overall, I feel that right now, moving forward, we can kind of play down that aspect. In addition, Drilling Angel is not very that good because the deck size just got bigger, so like, yeah. But I'll get to that when I reach the grade 2 segment. For the rest of our grade 3s, we obviously play 4 copies of Phantom Blaster Overlord with 1 in the right deck, and then we play 4 copies of the original Phantom Blaster Dragon. Phantom Blaster Dragon is a grade 3. You only need to know that he's a grade 3 with Blaster in his name and that he's the original form of Phantom Blaster Overlord. Despite having one of the best arts in early D, he has one of the worst skill texts printed in the history of this game. So I'm not even going to go through his skill, just know that he's part of your win con. You need him in the soul of this guy. That's basically it. Phantom Blaster Overlord, I've already gone through. We are playing 4 because we want a persona. Plus more blaster targets will lead us to a very interesting outcome, which I will show you later. Moving on to our grade 2s. Our grade 2s, we play 2 copies of Blaster Dark in the main deck and 1 copy of Blaster Dark in the right deck. You can see I've actually playing different versions of Blaster Dark. My main deck copies are from DBTO5, my right deck copy is from DBTO2. So I'm a collector. We play 4 copies of Emmeline, who was both a magazine promo and reprinted in Festival, so it's not that bad. We play 4 copies of Scourge Nemon, who is now Luat's favorite best friend in the world. We play 2 copies of Maple, who was also reprinted in Triple Drive Booster. And then we play 4 copies of Kriduna, who was also reprinted in Triple Drive Booster. But my Maple's original print, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go through from the easiest cards to talk about, then the harder ones moving forward, so bear with me. We play 3 copies of Juno's Total with 1 in the right deck and then 2 in the main deck. I know what a lot of you are thinking. Why? Why is not exactly the right question. I'm playing this at a 3 off because first of all, blaster names are important. 2, you actually can lose your copies of Blaster Dark if you fight a Chrono Jet or you fight a Binding Light deck. You will lose them, and that is very dangerous. You dead ass will lose if you cannot superior call Blaster Dark. So when I was playing back in 2022 in the Chrono Jet meta, I went up to 4 Blaster Darks. But now with the increased deck size and moving forward, the format's a bit faster. I feel 3 is just nice. If you want to gamble, you can play that too. But personally, I will always advocate for at least 1 extra copy of Blaster Dark in the main deck. It's better to be safe than sorry when fighting with Shadow. And then, since we're on the topic of easy to talk about cards, we're going to talk about the main. The main is now our last remaining option to cheat out our fake superior right with Phantom Blaster Dragon. So when I tell you that this has to be a 4-off, I'm sure you'll understand. The main is also one of our main few users of Counterblast besides Junos himself. So you might want to pace yourself in terms of how you use it. If you have a Blaster Vanguard, this unit gains 5000 power as a continuous effect during your turn. This means if your Luat players are using this as a 10k body, please call your judge immediately. Alright, you have to stop them from cheating because Luat players cheat. But what else? Well, when placed on the Vanguard circle, you can counterblast 1 if your Vanguard's a Shadow Paladin, move 1 card from hand to soul, and draw 2 cards. It's very similar to all the main. It's just nice cycle, it's pretty good altogether. It's not really a plus, but I mean, it can be considered a plus. And to top it all off, it slides a card from head to soul, which cheats out your PBO condition. You can also slide your stray copies of Blaster Dark into the Soul. It's not really an issue. The rest of the cards you kind of want to discard it or use as guard shield or units, whatnot. But you can use that option to move cards from hand to Soul, which is an interesting way to refill Soul. We only, however, have really one card that uses Soul, and that is Knight of Inheritance Evelyn. For those of you who are huge lore nuts like I am, this card means the world to us because she is the descendant of the Swordsman of Light. I feel so old right now. 3001 years later. When placed on the Vanguard circle, from the hand, Soul Blast 1, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose one Blaster card from among them and call them to the Vanguard circle or put it in your hand. If you put it in your hand, choose a card from your hand and discard it. This is your generic Blaster Searcher that you use for all your Blaster related needs. It's really good, and Evelyn has a skill that whenever your Blaster unit attacks, she's inspired by them and gains 5000 power. Wonderful. The Evelyn is a custom card made for all Blasters, and I'm really sad that I only managed to afford her this year. So I'm glad that they reprinted her in Festival because frankly I was not paying 4,000 yen for a single grade 2. But you know what? I did, and that's why I own the magazine copies as well. But now that it's reprinted, you generally should have no issue getting your hands on it. I think a copy of the reprint is around 1,100 yen last I checked. And Evelyn was also reprinted in Triple Drive Booster as an FFR. So yeah, I'm just glad that 2023 has blessed Blaster players indirectly. Thank you, Keter. Talking about another card reprinted in Triple Drive Booster, it's going to be Maple. But like I said, mine's the original print. I'm going to flex on you, I have money. Nah, I'm just kidding. I bought this at cheap. The only text you really need to know about Maple here is that when your grade 3 is placed on a Vanguard circle, you just Superior Caller from the draw. It's basically a Rising Phoenix. It's a free body on the board. You can use her to start your plays. You can use her for early rush. You can use her for discard. It's fine. Maple takes up the slot where Drilling Angel would be, and I'm really choosing to play Maple because I want to farm advantage so much. Drilling Angel only helps me cheat out a PBD condition, and that's it. So when it comes to playing the game, I opted to try Maple, which is a card I didn't have space for back in, before DivineZ. Now that DivineZ is here, I'm trying out these extra slots for Maple, and I hope it pays off. Lord Jarvov, I hope you can see this. I'm still trying. And then we have 4 of Kriduna. Kriduna is our latest card from 2023. You can either get her as a tournament promo or you could just get her from Triple Drive Booster. It's a rare, so I only paid about 200 yen for these when back then it used to cost 2,000 yen. So yes, thank you Kidani. God bless you. When this unit will be retired by the cost of your Vanguard with Blaster in its name, it's considered as 2 corpses instead of 1. So this skill doesn't really make sense when you look at Blaster Dark, but it does make sense when you look at Phantom Blaster Overlord. Oops. So generally speaking, one Kriduna will solve an entire retire cost. So it's nice to see that they are using the same text from DBTO2. I mean, I really appreciated it, and I'm glad they're continuing it in modern card design. But you don't know this card for that. Here's what you know this card for. When this unit is retired by the ability of a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, so you generally only use this card either turn 4 if you're going first or turn 3 if you're going second. So only if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. It's the same clause from Phantom Blaster Overlord to gain 10. So yes, this deck is kind of a go second deck. Okay, so let's make that clear. If you have a Blaster Dark on the field, choose it and it gets. When this unit attacks, discard 1 card from your hand, and this unit performs drive checks until the end of that battle. At the end of the battle, retire Blaster Dark himself. It seems really stupid, it seems really weird, and very frankly, it is a huge minus. But here's 2 things you need to take note of. 1, the retiring of Blaster Dark at the end of the battle that he performs. This is a way to protect Blaster Dark. This is the main reason why after Kriduna, people have cut Blaster Dark down to effectively 1, whereas I still play at 3. Because you can actually just put your Blaster Darks in the drop zone, they are less likely to get bound or bot decked or whatnot. So it is a safe way of protecting him, but at the cost of -1. Then again, I'm the guy that brought Ezel to fight Gandiva at WGP, so what the hell do I know about -3 evade? Secondly though, and the more important part, is that this unit can perform drive checks, which means you can in tandem use Blaster Dark's original skill to gain a drive by himself, allowing Blaster Dark to conduct 2 drives. So whether you choose to just use it for 1 drive check or 2 drive checks is entirely up to your counter blast ratio and what you want to do, but just know that you have the option to use Blaster Dark's skill after Kriduna so that you can perform up to 2 drives, which is nice. And that will cover the main bulk of this deck, because the rest of this deck is actually going to be really simple, but I'm still going to go through it just so that we're all clear. For our wonderful grade 1s, we play 1 copy of Blaster Javelin in the right deck. We still play 4 more in the main deck, 3 more in the main deck, because it's a Blaster name. We play 4 Perfect Guards because we want to stay alive, and we have to play the unit Perfect Guards because we are going to superior call them off Javelin, so we can't really afford a Sanctitude. And then we play 4 copies of Mugen. I'm gonna just move this out real quick. You already know these skills. This is a tanky booster. Mugen. Despite being my favorite blonde in Keter Sanctuary, I was really sad when I had the card in set 5 due to a lack of space. But she's back. She's back for good, and I'm gonna tell you why. When this card is placed from the hand, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its name, Blaster, so you know, Blaster Javelin counts as well, which is why he's here. Choose one card from your hand and discard it. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Superior call them as rest. And then, that's it. Yeah, that's entirely it. So you go +1 in Phantom Blaster Overlord. Like, that's pretty insane. For a card, it literally came out like in DivineZ 4, which is one of the most climactic and horribly pull rated sets. Like, the fact that this is here, it is really nice. All you have to do is just call 2 units from the top 2 cards of your deck after you discard a card from your hand. It doesn't matter the grades, you just call it as rest. So you can even cheat out Phantom Blaster Dragon, you can even cheat out grade 2s or highest, it's completely up to you. But the downside is if you flip any normal units, if you flip any trigger unit, if you flip any order units, thank you. If you flip any order units, you can't call them, they just discard it. But as long as they can be placed on the field, they're placed on the field. So because of this, we want to farm our advantage and just use this as a main way of gathering corpses early in the game, and then these guys will also become our board moving forward for turn 2 and up. So for Mugen, I strongly recommend you to mulligan for this card. This is someone you actually want to see on turn 1. Last but not least, our grade 0s. We play full ball. Honestly, any starter works in this slot. I'm only playing full ball because I won the SP at a tournament with Shoujo last year. But realistically, you can play whatever you want. We play 1 blue over trigger. I'm playing Eidos Farah, but he will be reprinted in DZBT01. So if you are saying, oh my goodness, I can't afford a 6,000 yen over trigger, it's reprinted in 2024, so you don't have to worry about it. Realistically, for Phantom Blaster Overlord, you really only play either this OT, Obaria, or Velnod. You don't really play Amatinoa because Amatinoa makes no sense for this deck. You play 3 effect draws because we still need to draw pieces. If you have the high rare Proby, you can play it, but normal Proby is fine. It's reprinted through a Drive Booster. 4 normal heals, we want a lit heal, and as you can pretty much guess, the rest are all critical triggers. Because this is Phantom Blaster Overlord, we need to sack our opponents out and kill them. But I like to clarify that, you know, in terms of the whole variance versus sack thing, as a very nice friend pointed out to me after my DivineZ video, just because the game has the ability to see less triggers in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean you won't. And that's why we are focusing so much on Blaster Dark's drive checks. By increasing the number of drive checks we get, we are also increasing the chances of pulling the triggers. So even though our decks are bloated, we are still fighting back. Yep, and that pretty much wraps up my Phantom Blaster Overlord deck profile for 2024/DivineZ. I'm really glad I got to touch this deck again, very frankly. I know it don't seem like it, I know you're saying, oh, where's my MLB video? But, you know, this is a deck that when I saw that DivineZ rule change, I think this is one of the first few that came to mind. I said, yeah, I gotta test this. And I'm glad I did. This deck is not only really fun, it now has space to play a lot more cards, and you are less likely to call trigger units, which means you are more likely to actually get a decent and proper board. That being said though, you are still toying with variance and, you know, a lot of probability factors here and there, which makes this deck still appear quite high roll. That also being said, the additional draw from the DivineZ and energy mechanic is very beneficial. It's beneficial to us because, you know, we get more draws. Who doesn't want more draws, right? You aim to kill your opponent as early as possible, and that's why you don't really want to draw that much of the energy. At most, you only get 1 to 2 draws. You don't actually get full 4 draws, but you do want to just take that note into account. Moving forward for my deck profiles, I will either show the energy crest at the start or end of the video, or I'll just mention it at the end. I don't really think we need to keep describing it over and over again, but if you want a full breakdown of energy as well as the full 54 card rule, you can check out the link in the description, as I said previously, for all the DivineZ changes. I really hope to be able to continue to do content creation, yet alone deck profiles, because I know some of you do like it. I was really touched when I read some of your comments. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I look forward to working alongside all of you in 2024. Who knows, maybe I might finally get a top 8 next year. I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Merry Christmas once again.